Okay, cool. Yeah, so does your screen kind of look like this, Joe? Where you get like it's not found.
Yeah.
Even better, because the point cloud tab has disappeared.
What? Seriously?
Are you
I'm
sure
not
you went
even
to
joking.
manage links then for that, or did you go to
Both manage links and VV. Point cloud's tab's
VV
gone.
won't have it if you don't have the point cloud in, but manage links should have. That's so weird.
Right. But
It's
I mean, even though
pretty random.
these ones here, there's no. The point cloud's link is gone. I mean, this tab up here.
That
I'm
shouldn't
pretty
happen.
sure. Maybe check again, Joe. Maybe I looked wrong.
Yeah, I think those are like static. Those are always there.
No, the point
It
cloud
should be.
is there. Like
Alright, cool.
the file name, what you're clicking, what you're showing right there is on, but
Yeah. And so when you
there's
go
nothing
reload
in the
from.
file.
Huh. So weird.
Yeah, it's very odd.
And you guys already retried downloading it from Rohan's and everything.
No, if you download it, it just downloads as a Adobe Acrobat immediately.
Is there like a. It's probably more of like an IT thing, but you can delete the record on your operating system of how it recognizes that file.
That's too big brain, bro.
That.
Even I'm intimidated by that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not keen, but you know, if you've got a mate in IT or something.
Maybe. I don't know.
Rohan,
Why are you looking at me? I don't know how to do that.
I'm not looking at anyone, bro. All right.
Melissa, here we go. Looking. Oh, I think we talked about your section before.
Yeah, last week.
Oh, sorry. One thing I've noticed. Could we just go back to the plan view, Tom?
Yeah, sure.
I think Rohan, you were doing something like this here too. You guys seem to be cutting it where the doors are. On the wall. So if you just go up, yeah, you guys can keep those as solid walls, because once the doors goes in, it'll automatically look like a cut.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds
That
right.
was-
That's
so fix
that's
that.
a single element the whole way down.
Right, and then we put doors in.
Yeah, and it'll look like it'll have the swings and stuff, so you can see the swings over there and just use that as a reference to where to rotate your doors, pretty much.
Yeah, you can see the jamb of it as well.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see it. It's a bit. That's the end of the wall there, and it's got that nub on the end of it. That's the jamb. Yeah.
I thought that maybe we'd model those later, but yeah, okay, that's fine. So how would I join that gap then? Oh, you know, because that was the problem.
You could use the align tool.
Yes.
So
So you
AL
would
on your
go like
keyboard,
that.
and then click that,
So
and then
that's actually joined the geometry. So have you gone and drawn this as like one element and then split it to open it up for the doors?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's quite like redeemable. Then you could also use the trim tool as well. And now it's but now it's like a lot of different elements.
if you click them, if you select them, if you hit join and you join them, it might join them together. I'm not 100% confident in that though, actually.
Well, otherwise I just redraw the wall.
Yeah, I'd say you just like take this one and like drag it out to the end.
Yeah.
And then what about that last one where it's a really big difference? Sorry, not the last one. The one on the left.
So with that one there, what you do, I would personally use the AL tool for that one there specifically.
This one?
The align tool, because then you could keep them sort of, I guess, plumb on one side, and then you could have that. So can you just align them quickly?
Yep.
I'll show you what I'm talking about.
That's kind of pulled it out a bit. So
and then you could just align it so it's smooth on that one side, or it doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah, it kind of seems like this is the shared face, is like that inside one, So
Yeah.
you would want to, take it over to the side, drop the drag line on that corner, hit tab till you get the little square. Now it's housed on that properly. So yeah, that's the shared surface. But think about like which wall you'd want to host this door on, which is going to be this one, I'd say,
Yeah.
because otherwise you're dragging this
Yeah.
thick wall across to this side, and you're actually getting this corner up here. So that requires that level of interrogation, just to see where you want to put that. And then that's maybe looking a little
Yeah.
bit
What is that?
janky.
Yeah, it is. I didn't know how to fix that. Or I didn't really know how I got it. Like I joined something, but then I didn't.
You could probably use the align tool again there, Tom. If you just select those edges, because they're just slightly offset. That's what it is by angle.
Yeah, for that one, I'd probably try drop that one on the corner again, personally.
Yeah.
So it's like, it looks like that's got that shared surface again. Think about like, actually, you can see your walls below. I don't know, I guess we need to look at the point cloud below, but like for that exterior face, is like drawing it on top of the other one.
Yep.
It's probably going to start to look a bit janky when we go into 3D. It's good to have like two 3D views, one without the point cloud, so you can kind of see, you'll be able to see like where it catches the light and where there's shadows to kind of make out the jankiness. You can actually, if you really want to, go walls and turn off the lines. How am I doing this? No. Where's my line transparency, man? I don't know. Maybe I can just make them white. You know what? Never mind. Just as an example of stuff you can do in this visibility and graphics dialog. That's VV or VG. You can actually find it over here in the properties tab as well. But Joe, you had a question about changing wall colors. So again, that's just coming down to this walls category. This
Okay.
applies to all things like windows and doors as well, as which part of it you want to control. So changing the lines white, added all those edges or made them all white. Patterns are going to be like the surface, I guess. So I can make the surface red. Yep. Cool.
Okay.
And you got a like transparency setting as well. I think that's overall transparency. Yeah. But I think the one that's going to be handiest for you guys is the cut. So that's coming into here, and that's this section here. So that means like surface and projection are when you're looking at the whole element and you're seeing its surface. Imagine when you cut that object in half and you're looking at the slice, that's what the cut is. So if you're
Okay.
looking at the top of the wall, you'd still be looking at a projection or surface, but if you're cutting halfway through the elevation of the wall, now you're looking at a cut. So change it to solid, color, red, whatever you'd like to. What's relevant? You could even, if you wanted to, I don't know, put like a hatching in there. Don't know how much it'll help you, but that kind of gives you a little something to play with.
I see.
Yeah, and I guess you still have the benefit of having either hidden lines on or changing the transparency of your walls as well. Yeah. If you guys are having issues with the lines of your walls being really thick as well, there is a system for that. It's called thin lines. Here it is. This one. It's just something you really don't want to. You probably want to go with the thinner lines, just because as soon as you start working with these, it's like you can't really see which point it's going onto, or you're reducing the accuracy with which you're doing that. So I usually work with thin lines on. Shortcut for that is TL. Yeah, that works as well. Sorry, no, I'm just waffling on a bit here. But like, I mean, this is pretty good quality,
Jed, you're
Melissa. You know, I'm
cutting
pretty
out a
happy with
lot.
that. Am I?
Is it my end or your end?
I think it might be your end. I can hear him fine.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying, Melissa. You know, I'm quite happy with this.
I can't hear you, Tom. Is it just me?
Is it just like a broken up issue or volume?
I can't hear you.
I can hear you fine.
Okay. I might can turn up my microphone sensitivity or something.
I couldn't hear you very well for about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Is it better now?
Yeah, it is better now. Okay, so I need to close up all the doors, put back the door thingies.
Yeah. I was just saying overall, pretty good quality for the walls. Yeah. Like you know, I'm pretty happy with this. Again, just maybe like fixing up some of the smaller,
Yeah,
jankier areas.
I don't know how to fix that, so I thought I was trimming, but yeah.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah. There's it's a bit of a learning curve. In all fairness, I think one thing I'm seeing here is maybe um, it being a bit thick. Because what that looks like to me is that we're seeing the top of some skirting board or something. Yeah, see, what it looks like to me is that the wall's just a bit thick here, and what we're
Yeah,
seeing in plan is actually, you know, those little details that make the wall look a bit thicker.
right.
But really, aside from like when we start seeing things like this, it should really just be the negative space, and you can assume stacked lines are kind of just these details.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a bit harder to make out in plan. But again, that's just to reiterate the importance of modeling with sections as well. Um,
right. Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't. I
One
don't
one
do anything.
thing they've also done quite well is, you know, you've got that consistent height throughout it. You're modeling up to level 3. Um,
One thing that may help also, sorry, is if we, I don't know if you guys already use this, but WT on your keyboard opens up multiple windows of the views you have opened, and that's quite useful in modeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it just gives you all the different views so you can be analytical as you go about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're working with like 2 views, like a plan. Like often what I do is, but now this has kind of gotten away from me. But like, yeah, I'd have plan in one view and like a section in the other window, and potentially even like another section down here, just so you're looking at the wall from 2 angles. Um, and yeah, I mean, as soon as you get the first one figured out, you can kind of assume that they're all the same height, but then just like reference it quickly. I'll have like another 3D view in here that I can switch between the tabs. Um, Likewise with the sections as well. Yeah. For those of you who don't remember the shortcuts, it's up here. Wait, no, it's one of these. Isn't it? No, it's over here. Tile views. under the view section, view tab.
So down in the right-hand corner.
Down here.
So yeah, see, I've got a funny join. Is there? They're like, what have I done, and why is it done that?
Yeah. So it's just because this wall here and this wall here aren't on the same angle.
I
So
see.
I guess because this one is completely square. So, but you can see there is a minute angle in there.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, my quick fix would just be deleting that, trimming these two, and then splitting that one there, and just adding some extra thickness there.
Oh yeah.
So there is still a line there.
Yeah. Why does it still have a line?
They could be different heights. Let me just check.
You could also disallow join. That should remove those lines.
It looks like that. Oh, there's something a little bit funky going on there. Oh right, I see. I'm looking at. No, they're the same height and everything. I see the issue. It's just slightly off. I might have been looking at the right thing. No, for some reason the geometry is not joined, but that's like a fair degree of accuracy anyway. Like that's not breaking anything.
I think you're looking at was level 1.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me.
Another way to do it. Sorry, Tom.
Yep.
Could you just go back to the plan view?
Mhm.
And just click on one of the walls.
This one?
And if you go up to, you know where the red cross is up on the ribbon, the one to the right of it. No, so you're there before.
This.
The one to the So the one to the right
Okay.
of it. No, that one there.
That
So that draws a
section
section box around the wall.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you click on that, it'll just take you to the exact detail that you've clicked on.
That's what I did. I pressed BX. Weirdly, it's hooked around the base of it though.
Yeah, you might just have to disallow join. That could be it, and then try and realign it. It's sometimes a bit finicky.
Yeah, like the 3D view's showing an offset, but the plan isn't. Huh. But then I don't know. What happens if I go like, no, they move together. Honestly, if you get little things like that where it's just being a bit finicky, I give you a pass to just go past it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the basement had a lot of weird stuff.
Okay. I think I recall there being a lot of clutter in here, but like, I mean, first appearances, this looks really good. I think I see a wall
just-
there.
Yeah, and well, there's just a whole lot of gaps. So is it outside or is it a basement?
No, like this is definitely ground floor, like ground level access through here, and then as you
Right.
start to go in here, it's like a little bit of
Yeah. Yeah, what's
subterranean.
that?
What's that?
Right. Oh yeah, that's what I thought maybe.
Yeah, like this is all wall here, and there's no. It doesn't look like a wall because there's no scan data on the other side.
Just use the same thicknesses you've been using for those main walls on those outside ones.
Yeah, I think for reference, like I mean, this is like the main exterior wall. So this keeps going like this, and then there's kind of like like a wall like this that closes it in. And this is probably, this is going to keep going up this way too. So if it just looks something like that, whereas I think this was actually outside as well. This is like a curtain wall. So you would actually be able to like walk around here outside.
Okay. So why is that a little skinny wall?
Just because I haven't taken the time, it's probably thick. Yeah. But again, you don't have the point cloud data, so you don't know the actual size. So it's up to you to make a call on that. I'd be happy if you use the same thickness as these exterior walls, or if you were
I
informed.
can't hear you again. Sorry, Tom.
Yep, that's all good. I was just saying, I'd be happy if you used the same thickness as these exterior walls, or if you were using some other structural element to inform your wall thickness decision. Did you get that?
She might be having some connection issues because I could hear you.
Okay, yeah. Now we'll cover that.
Sorry to butt in, but just when we can, could we have a look at mine? I've got, I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of like random little connections of walls that I have no clue what to do with.
Oh.
Yeah. Who's that? Sorry.
Janelle.
Janelle. Okay, cool. Yep, we can do that.
Yeah, so that bottom left, the outside bit,
Around here.
like angled up, that like angled bit. I don't know how that connects.
I see. Yeah, this one. So that one, honestly, should just automatically, it'll just join.
Okay, so that random stuff on the outside doesn't mean anything?
That random stuff looks like it's from a window or a windowsill because it looks like you have a window over there also.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it could be reflections that are making those circular forms. I'm not too sure.
This is probably just like a downpipe or something,
Mm.
and it's got some bracing hooked into the wall. Let's just play around with view range a bit. Kind of pull that bottom clip off the ground to filter out some of the noise, and drill down on like a range of about 1,000 millimeters or something. I think that's especially important for you because when there was some scanning in here, it was like they were getting rid of all the furniture in the building. So you've actually got
Yeah,
like a whole
super
bunch of
hard
crap
to
in
try
there.
and figure
Yeah.
out
So
bits and
definitely pull that view range up, and like a lot of those elements will start to disappear. So even if I take that up to probably, I'll just bump that up.
Really crappy internet.
Yeah, see a lot of that stuff is starting to
Yeah.
disappear.
Just having
You seeing those wall
I
lines?
can't hear them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Let's just see what's going on here. Good to see that you've got your sections going. You're doing your interrogating there. Yep. So see that one is actually like the roof. I remember that section. Yeah, so you've got like this weird little kind kind of side building attached to the main tower. But it only goes up on the first story, and then the roof is kind of sloped into it. I'd say what's happening here is that there's a little bit more thickness in this wall, and that so you've got the interior face, right? And then there's I'd take it all the way out to there, because then you're just seeing like these arched openings. And then it does look like it drops off there again. So, maybe it is worth jumping over into 3D. I think, we're actually seeing that there is actually a rebate in the facade as well.
Yeah, I've got heaps of them, and I don't know, a lot of them are on angles.
Yeah.
And I have no clue how to change angles.
Yeah, see, like, I mean, you're capturing it there with your, like, splitting up the wall. That's kind of the solution that we want to go for. That's really good.
But on, like, the right hand side of the building, I think it's a lot more, it can be in a lot more. They're not on 90 degrees, they're sloping in on angles.
Yeah. So, like, even here, that looks like it cuts in a bit more.
Yeah.
I'd say, like, don't sacrifice the functionality of these wall elements just to capture that curve. I mean, I'd say, like, actually just acknowledging that there is a thickness change in it is already, like, a huge thing. So even if it looks a little bit, I don't know, not perfectly square, I'd say this is, like, a happy compromise.
Okay, so if they are out, like they do come out on an angle, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, they can just be square.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of what we're trying to do here is really, I mean, yes, capture the detail, capture the eccentricity, but also the main thing is, and this is more of like the kind of debate around it, is like we're trying to capture the essence of the building, and this is fine. This is like perfectly fine to have this, and look, there's, at the end of the day, there's what, like 5 mil or something max. Like we can work within tolerances, but we're capturing those like broad trends and those like broad eccentricities.
Okay.
So
Also,
I'd say how you've placed your walls is really good, Janelle. It's really good.
okay, cool. I'll just change the windows stuff. Is it possible to add a door to a curtain wall? Like, how do you, if on that second story, it's all glass along
Yeah.
the office bit?
I know what you're talking about. I believe it's just up here. Yeah, that one. So, wow, yeah, nice. So what you can do for this one is you can hit tab, and you can essentially choose. So, okay, if you hover over the curtain wall, you usually just select the curtain wall. But if you hover over a segment and hit tab, you can actually select the segment. So same, I'll try to get this bottom one as well and add it. And I believe there's okay, there's not actually a door family in here, but you could potentially change that to something different.
Right.
So yeah, you can grab that individual element.
You should be able to put a door in that solid element.
So you just put a wall in that area and then put a door on it.
So doesn't look like
It might be the sizing. You might have to change the actual dimensions of the door you're putting in.
just like put a little itty bitty door in it.
Yeah.
There is a family that changes curtain panels into doors. I can find that one for you, but like right now, the solution is fine, just having it empty. I assume that's what it is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think what you've done is, have you just actually selected that and just like deleted the panel?
I think I edited the surface area or something and just cut it out.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you go edit profile. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Maybe that's I mean that's seemed to work. I mean, you've definitely captured the essence of that piece. Um, honestly, if you want to put a pin in that one and leave it for a bit later,
Yeah.
and then can potentially go over getting that door in there. One thing I'd note here is that, oh wait, no, it goes all the way up to the ceiling. But one thing I have had before, I've had that with Lapakshi, was just go level 2. So you'll have a curtain wall inside another wall. So basically, the tool for that is, yeah. So you might have a wall there, and then know that there's you'll kind of see it like a door inside of it, but actually it'll kind of reveal itself in section. But now what I can do with this wall here is, like you did, I can edit the profile, or I can use this wall opening tool and essentially just draw that. Okay, if it is going to, oh yeah, see, that's worked. So now, yeah, now that's appeared. And then you have that wall bulkhead above it.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, there might be something behind there, but we don't know that, because if it is, it's above the ceiling. So yeah, if you're being like really prudent about the structure, you might capture that, but I'd give it a pass in this case.
Okay, cool. And then I just had another couple questions about this area. There's like those stairs going up to that lecture hall bit, and then there's the like ramp that goes kind of changes the level. Does that mean that the person who's doing that area, their floor level will be different, so I have to align the floor with them, or do I just forget about the little ramp?
Yeah, so it looks, so you've been assigned this corridor area. So yeah, I'm gonna say you're in charge of this corridor. You're gonna be coordinating with this person as to who does these walls and this door. But I'd say, yeah, you're doing these stairs. Let's just go into the floor level change scenario. You're zone 6, yeah, cool. So this is where it kind of gets important to add in the other models now, just so you have visibility of what's going on in the other person's model. Yeah, so like they have the same level lines,
Yeah,
but
there's a
what
bit to
these
the
people are
left
going to
of
be
the
doing
stairs.
is they're going to be up here. They're going to draw a floor. And it's going to be, they're going to be offsetting it. And I'd say they're going to draw it all the way up to this door.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to be responsible for these 3 steps. Yeah, but hopefully you should have their wall to model up to.
Yeah, and then there's also, if you move the section line across to the left, there's like a ramp. It's not
Oh yeah,
flat.
gotcha. Yeah.
So does that need to be modeled as well? And does that need to then connect with their height?
Yep. Yep. So again, they're gonna have their wall here. I think your section actually like finishes up here. That's the break. Is this big structural wall here? So I think this one comes to a bit of discourse actually. I think you could argue that, hey, actually most of the ramp is in their section, and therefore they should like model down onto yours. I would want to see this as one element. So whoever's on zone 7, now's the time to start talking with each other.
The shotgun not.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, if you get the stairs, the other person gets the ramp. That seems like a pretty fair deal to me. But I'd say, you're going to be modeling your floor like up and underneath this ramp. So you're going to give them a base to put it on.
Okay.
Yeah. And whoever's doing, whoever one of you ends up doing this structural wall, think about doing that as one element, because that clearly lines up and just has wall openings put through it. I think the same it looks like here as well. Janelle, maybe that's something you can look into as well, because
I was wondering about that because a lot of them do
yeah,
line up.
like your walls are stacked up on top of each other and have that consistent thickness all the way through. So you could absolutely do it as one element, but I think your model looks really good at this point anyway. Maybe just get in some like subtle offsets there.
Yeah.
That would be the benefit of modeling it as one element, is you won't have those. But I
And
mean,
also some of the lines that are like double lined, the point cloud lines, are they just because it's a skirting or something?
yeah, that's what you're seeing in plan. Is like you're seeing the surface all stacked on top of each other, and that looks like one line, and then you're also seeing like that little extra detail, but it kind of
So
just
it's better to model to the inside lines?
yeah, the innermost line.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and yeah, again, sections just verify that.
Yeah.
As well as controlling that view height. You're going to have a lot of interesting details like this.
Yeah.
I know, like initially we said we weren't gonna, bother about too much details and stuff. I'm not gonna like say that this is a thing we should do, but if you want to put your hand up for it, I could
I have
definitely
no
teach you
clue
how to
do
do
that.
those. They are quite easy, and like I'd argue maybe you only like need to capture the prominent ones.
Okay, because they're even in like the door frames of the like upstairs, the third level.
Yeah,
And I just kind of went around it and ignored it.
yeah, no, fair enough. Definitely don't think about those yet. I mean, we have way more important things to do, like floors, ceilings, and windows, doors. They're kind of last on the list.
Yeah.
And if anything, they're like just the kind of thing that um, um, we can do it. Well, we can take your guys' student models as a base and build on those as well. Yeah. So I mean, what everyone's doing, great. If you guys, you guys in the chat as well should be looking at this, and this is actually a really good standard to go up to. I guess a lot of you are kind of ready for the next thing. If you are, I think we should move on to floors next. What do you think, Sian? Is that the next logical thing to move on to?
Yeah, 100%. Floors and then ceilings and then probably roofs last.
Yeah, floors. Let's just do floors and ceilings right now because they're kind of similar. So floors, guys, super easy. Just kind of depends where you're gonna draw it. So section across the building is really important. going over into the architecture tab, I'm hitting floor. And it's kind of like, it's a really loose format. You just kind of get to draw it however you want. So
I'd recommend using pick lines though.
yeah, I just kind of want to show a bit of the functionality. So you could potentially draw a floor in whatever shape you wanted to. Like, say I wanted to draw a floor like this, I can 100% like lock that in. Like, this is literally just like a sketching module before you go into it, and then you hit tab, and like now I've got this crazy as like floor element. I'm gonna pull that over into my section. And I've lost it. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, so it's down here, and it's gonna hook on to that level. Of course, you can like switch that to that. You're like the walls, you're controlling the thickness with a family. I'd be pretty happy for if you know there's a ceiling on the underside, which in most cases it is. I'd be happy for you to go for like an umbrella thickness. For all of these, just say 300 is fine. Just use that default setting. But if you do find a case where actually something like this, nah, that's probably still a ceiling, to be honest. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like you can't see what's going on there, so you can't really assume what actual thickness it is. But kind of just try to like use your logic and like deduction to kind of figure out what it is. Unless you know that it's thinner than 300 mils, I'd probably like I wouldn't want to see like that. I feel like that is just a bit unrealistic for that span. Yeah. So anyway, going back to drawing it. So we're going in here, and now what Sian said is because we're modeling on all these eccentric angles, it's really handy to just use this tool here, is pick lines, and it's going to identify these lines, and we can just place those sketch lines along all these walls now. So right now I can just really get quite a simple outline of the building. These lines follow the same rules as walls or sketching anything, so you can use the trim tools, you can use the align tools. Places like this, you're going to have to go in with a bit more detail, and then you're going to have to like make sure you chop them back to scratch, because if you have like an overhanging end, Revit's not actually going to accept that. It's going to call it an incomplete drawing, so you have to make sure all your lines are going end to end. It's really easy to do with this pick line and trim. If you are having to drag, make sure that you're coming in same rules as you just hit tab until you know that you're hooking onto the end of the next line. So much easier to do as you're going rather than coming in later and trying to figure out which line is giving you problems. So you're going to do that. I think what I want with exterior walls is modeled to that inside line of the wall, and then all the interior walls can actually be sitting on top of the slab. Now there's a bit of space for like discourse about this because it's not exactly that black and white. Because I mean, what happens if you get a structural wall that's inside the building? Do you like essentially model a donut floor or something? I don't know. They just have some rationale when you're making these decisions. And if you want to, that's the kind of thing you can run by me and Sian. We will definitely happily share our 2 cents on the matter. For the sake of example, I'll just like finish this off real quick. Okay, cool. Fingers crossed. Overlapping lines. Okay, I see what the issue is. Yeah, pick lines, because there were multiple wall elements there, I think that tripped me up. Yeah, so lines on top of each other, River is not a fan of that. So, doing that. And we're gonna do this one again. Trim tool is definitely your friend for this one. It'll make you a bit more fluent with it. Cool, there we go. Now we have a nice slab element. You can always go back in, go edit boundary and modify this. But I would say, try to do it as one element. Again, try keep it real simple for yourselves. Because if you start doing it room by room, it's going to get a little bit out of hand.
I just have a question. So when
sure.
we do the rooms that would be connecting, do we just model to the middle of the wall, or do we model to the outside of the point cloud?
Sorry, come again?
So if you go back to like plan, say that there's a person on that would connect to me on the right side as well as the left side.
Yes.
Am I modeling my floor to the middle of that wall or the outside of that wall?
Good question. Yeah, so this is one for the discourse, I'd say, and it really depends. I mean, what we've observed here is that this is a big structural wall. It's kind of like one of the big backbone walls of the building. You'll notice that this building does have that. It has that here as well. The building is kind of cut up by these big walls that go down through all the floors, and this is one of them here. So I'd say in this case, you're going to be modeling to this line here, because this is going to be one element that runs from ground all the way up, or it could be stacked. And then the other person's going to be modeling up to this line here. It's not going to be the case for all of you, because some of your dividing walls, or for those of you who even have walls, and for those of you that don't, it's going to be something arbitrary, something in between. So you're going to have cases where people's elements are bleeding into others' zones. But yeah, I think for the sake of simplicity, what this person's nope, we want this one. It's gonna be on like that line there, and it's probably gonna stretch across into this one. And where it gets complicated is they're gonna be on the inside of that facade wall. Where it gets complicated is now, okay, who actually puts the floor in the doorway? That one is, and because that doorway's on the ramp as well.
Yeah, do you know who is 7?
Who's 7? I know Lorraine is 8.
I'm doing 7.
Oh yeah. So hey, you guys have the platform Discord. Shout out to each other. Again, if you don't know who your partner is, that Excel sheet with the zone assignments has it on there. So you'll be able to find each other. And if you guys come to an agreement that this is, say, Zone 7 is responsible, you can, I don't know, just put like a little nub in there. It's a little bit tricky. Just have to delete that element, otherwise it'll pull the other ones up. Yeah, no, I'd be pretty happy with just like a little nub going like that. But again, actually, there's going to be that ramp section. So if this nub is part of this floor, it's going to be sticking through that ramp. So it's actually it's it's a problem solving exercise. Is where does that floor start? Where does that finish? Maybe this floor actually has to run all the way like underneath. Sorry, I was pointing with my hand for a second. Maybe it has to maybe Janelle, your floor has to run under here for it to make sense, because you're on this elevation. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that one up to you guys. Test you all a little bit. Remember, coordination is an important part of this project. And as before, I'm about to move on to ceilings. So in case anyone else has any questions about floors.
Sorry, I have a quick one.
Yep.
I'm just looking in section at my one, and I was showing Sian the other day because in one part of my wall, the level 1 wall is thicker than the level 2 wall,
Right.
and I assumed that like the slab sits on top of it, but it's not the case. It kind of just sits in it, if that makes sense. So would I have to? Because if I draw my floor as like regards to the level 2 floor boundary, it'll go through the level 1 floor. Sorry, the level 1 wall. So should I just share my screen?
Yeah, I think you should.
Give me a sec. That's kind of the issue I'm talking about. I don't know if it's. Is that live?
Yep. Everyone else can see it, right?
Hello.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of the floor, and that's my level 1 wall.
Yeah. What's the issue with that though?
Is it okay for it to like sit in?
You should just be able to use the join tool, and that should smoothen it out. So just give that a try.
Oh, I'm actually in another floor thing right now, but I'll try that later.
Just
Oh,
try
yeah,
it now if you can. Actually,
I see your
just so
issue.
we
Let
know
me
if
see
it
if I
works or not.
can.
You should
Let
be
me
able
just finish
to.
this floor. Yeah. Let me just fix this one thing, and then we should be able to do that.
Okay, just TR that.
I would do that if I knew how to.
TR, like that's the keyboard
Uh-oh.
shortcut.
Uh-oh. This will be fine.
Use trim tool, dude. Otherwise, you're not going to get them correct for the other ones. So TR on your keyboard,
Mm-hmm.
and then you select 2 lines, and it'll join them together or clip them together. That is, if you zoom in on that one, I think you have a face in between that. Yeah, that's not connected.
Yeah.
Right.
So I said delete. No, delete that top one
Oh,
and just join it to the other one.
really?
Zoom out a
The
little.
element?
Yeah,
Zoom in and zoom out a little bit. That usually resolves it.
I think going for full surface, like for surface coverage like that, is
What the?
Or use the try using the select line tool. So use the green line. Yeah, you can try that one there, and then use the trim tool. So TR again, like I told you.
Oh,
And then the
but
other
on
way.
the other side, yeah.
What? We'll get to this later. I'll do it later.
Yeah. Okay. But just to make a bit of an example
Yeah,
of what you've
we
done
can do that
here
later.
is, I think
Okay.
following the exact line of the wall, especially when we're going to be
Yeah, but
modeling in all
regarding that, if
these.
you use the join tool, it'll merge it into that wall, the adjacent wall.
Okay, cool. I'll
So
have that.
that'll take out that ugly, weird
Yeah.
joining artifact that happens.
Yeah, and what it looked like in section. I'll just take over the screen share again.
Sweet. Is Tom still there?
Have I been on mute the whole time? So I'm still here. Am I?
All right. I guess, does anyone else have any other questions before we go into the ceilings?
Wait, did I leave
Sorry.
chat? What the heck?
Yep, he's back now. Okay, sweet.
I can't believe I got booted from my own thing. Shocking.
Hey, just a question on the floors. So the ones that we did, you said it was the slab. Is that the one that we make 300?
Yeah, just you can go umbrella thickness 300, unless you can actually see the underside of the slab and you know that it's thicker or thinner. But yeah, that's going to require a level of interrogation, looking at the point cloud to determine whether it's ceiling or under slab. You guys didn't hear me for like any of Rohan sharing that bit, did you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
Oh,
But it's
dang it.
cool because Sian's joint thing worked. So
Yeah, I think my observation with your bit was just that. So you are following that interior line of the wall really rigorously.
Mhm.
What I would say is really dumb it down a lot more. Um, kind of to the level of what I've done inside Janelle's model.
Mhm.
Just really just following those principal walls, like even though there's really subtle offsets, I just pick line the one segment and then I trim it to the
Right.
far end wall. And it doesn't matter if that wall extends in a little bit. Chances are it's usually just like an extra bit of plasterboard on the wall or something.
Right.
Or like some skirting that's giving it that extra thickness.
I mean, to give you some sort of example too, we work at my place. We work to a tolerance of 20 millimeters. So even those tiny little details, we usually ignore them if they're within that 20 millimeter tolerance, just to keep
Right.
everything more orthographic and easily legible, really.
And
Cool.
as well, like I did in Janelle's one, is these interior walls, I'm just treating them like they sit on top of the slab. Yeah, that it'll save you a lot of headaches.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Anyone else for floor stuff? I think, and actually, you could make a call that something like this here is not even a column or part of the walls. I think. What do you call it when you have like this boxed out thing that looks like a column, but it's actually just full of services or like downpipes?
The service shaft.
No, it's not called that. It's called like a
I know the word
Dock.
you're talking about. I just forgot. It's like shares the same name with a structural term.
yeah. A
Um,
colonnade?
nah,
Nah.
nah.
Can I join for a
Oh,
second?
hey, Renata.
Like in ancient Egypt, for example, it would be pillar.
Like a
If it is
pilaster.
massive, if it is big, massive something that is thicker and wider than column and
Yeah.
usually square in plan, it
Yeah.
would be pillar.
Yeah.
Is that the word that you are looking for?
That's still going to be a structural element, right? Like that's a solid thing. I
Yeah,
think
this is a
what
hollow service shaft.
what I'm
Oh, but
yeah
if it is a hollow, then not. Sorry,
yeah
I thought it's full. Then I'm not sure what would be today the name of that shaft.
yeah. It's
Probably, yeah.
been
That's
working
gonna annoy me
commercial
now
too
because I
long.
knew it like last week.
Yeah, me too. Um, yeah, like I would argue, I think from memory, this is literally just boxed out, and half the time there's just some pipes. It's just hiding some pipes. So I feel like it would be well within reasonable just to model along this line here, and not worry about that. That again plays into assuming that's there. We can actually look at that and ask if it's yeah. See, it's like it's thick up here, and then like we know that's a structural wall, and then it's just got like this thing in it here. So this probably drops down some pipes into the ceiling cavity, and then shoots them out somewhere else. Um, sorry, tangent. Let's do some ceilings. Yay. So ceilings right next to floors, functionally exactly the same. You're just going to be doing them on a room to room basis. Automatic ceiling, if you can get it plugged in, is just fantastic. Just drop it to. Um, so imagine. So again, it's hosted to the level, and here we're just offsetting it from that level by 1500. So now, potentially when we hover in this room, no, it doesn't like this room for some reason. Probably because like the wall connections. What about this one? No, it will work for this room. So now that we've gone and created that, it's basically just automating that sketch line process. So if we go to that section now, it's actually created a ceiling just entirely, it's basically done automatic pick lines. So now I can just take that all the way up here where I know the ceiling is in section, and ceiling done. Beautiful. This one here, where it didn't like the automated process, I'm just going to come across into plan and basically do the same thing, except I'm going to come over here. Sorry, I probably did that a bit fast. Ceiling, instead of automated, just go over to sketch, and you basically come into the same module as floors. So I'm just going to do the pick lines thing again. Get those principal walls, get that one in the middle, have my trim tool, boom, bam, that's already joined. Smart wall. There, I've got my nice little square. Use the trim tool so there's no like overlaps or anything. Hitting that plus, it's dropping it at same thing. It's dropping it at that level 2 and 15 again. Yep, go to my section. There it is. And I'm just taking it up to the proper height. Yeah, I guess the one thing to watch out with ceilings as well is just don't assume what the height is. Definitely reference it in a section, and you just drop it into the right place. You're only going to be seeing the underside of the ceiling elements. I don't think there's any cases where we have the scans of the ceiling cavities, so you can just keep it on like this real generic family and not have to worry about any thicknesses. Probably actually, yeah, no, compound ceiling, I'm happy with that. As for like taking this element down and like copying it down to different levels, you can see like the dimensions of the room aren't quite right either. So yeah, just draw a new one for each room. It is going to get a little bit more interesting in your corridor space, for example. You're going to have some similar issues as to like, oh, okay, no, actually you're not going to have to model into doorways or anything. But you kind of will be following the wall profiles a bit more closely. Like say with this one where we did ignore this one, actually the ceiling is going to have to be modeled around that. Yeah. So I'd say don't touch ceilings until you're really happy with your wall placement. Just because if you make any adjustments, you know, they're not going to be sitting nicely together. They're just going to be offset and contribute to model jankiness. So for those of you that are in a position to go ahead with your wall, like are done with your walls, absolutely get into floors and ceilings. But just note that if you start somewhere in between or want to make wall adjustments later, it's going to be really hard to keep on top of keeping your ceilings and floors not janky. You'll end up with your sketch line somewhere halfway between the walls, and yeah, it just gets a bit messy.
Sorry, just while we're here in this plan,
Yep.
do I have to model that little deck out the front?
Yeah. Let's see the infamous deck. Yeah, you've got quite a building zone to do.
Yeah, cheers for that.
Don't worry, I got you. See, it's a bit smaller, but it is quite detailed. Yeah, so that is, I don't know, Sian, what would you say? That probably has to be modeled as a mass.
Could you do a longitudinal section through that floor,
Sure.
through that balcony?
No.
I mean, I'm more than happy for her to model it as just a normal floor and just align it to the bottom of that pretty much.
Yeah, just don't do the details there.
Yeah, just leave the details out. Just model it as like a floor on the outside. And if you want to add an extra detail, just go to the railing tool and draw a railing around it.
Yeah, literally. Like the only expectation for this is just to maybe try a bit harder than just drawing a box, but like something like this. Yeah. I'd say don't try to capture any of that like fancy form work or anything. Um, yeah.
Okay, cool.
That
Hey,
attach tool can be
um,
really handy, but I'd say probably avoid it now.
Hey, just what you're saying about the walls, Tom.
Yep.
Can we then send in to think that the walls are good? Can we send them in to you guys and you can check them and say go ahead?
Yeah, I mean we can do that. Give you a bit of a go ahead before you commit to ceilings and floors. I think that's probably a
That
good
would be
sanity
great.
check for everyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Um, I think just something I'm seeing here, Janelle, is that this. I think because it's in the arch, is it's appearing like it's this thickness, but I think it's actually this thickness here. Hmm, there isn't
Yeah,
a
it would be because the bottom is also showing that.
So that would just all be one
yeah. I
straight
think it's
wall.
just because it's a big arch.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just make it easy and make it one straight line, really.
Oh, I know. Like this is a case where you kind of need to look at it in 3D. Like in plan, it definitely looks like that bottom. It's interesting because it steps in. I'm wondering if like it's probably getting a bit detailed, but oh no, there would be a janky way to capture this, and there'd be a really nice detailed way to capture this. Um,
I don't even know how to do the stairs down the back, let alone
yeah,
front
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah. No, it's so good. I think what I would look for is capture it with this overall exterior thickness, and then, like you've done before, change the profile, but just model in an arch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like somewhere like about like that first step or something, and then maybe we can look at drawing another smaller wall inside of that opening, which would kind of be like the janky but functional way to do it. Um, yeah, instead of using wall sweeps and getting really fancy with it.
Okay, cool.
Um, I did refer Lapakshi to doing some wall sweeps. Um, for reference, that is the tool that you would kind of use to, um, if I go up to the top here, like capture this cornice and stuff, you would use a wall sweep to do that. Um, that's the more like detailed end of it, but you can actually use it to do um, just some like random protrusions that are sticking out of walls as well. It can be handy for that, for keeping your model quite simple without having to chop up your wall into 100 bits. Um, so if you are finding that you're having to chop up your wall into like just an unmanageable amount of pieces, reach out to me and Sian and we can talk to you about doing wall sweeps. But I'd say wall sweeps should be elective from you guys at this point. How do you feel about that, Sian?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of detail to get into. Also, wall sweeps.
Yeah, I just think if like chopping up your model too much is giving you problems, wall sweep is probably the solution for that.
Mm.
Yeah.
That top wall, is that meant to be to the detail or to the roof line?
I well, yeah, like what's going on here actually? Seems to be like there's a flagpole on top of it or something. Um, it looks like it goes all the way up to here actually.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me. Um, yeah, it definitely goes up all the way there. One of the things that's a little bit trippy is that gap. and that's just because the laser scanner's been on the ground when that's being captured, so it's like seeing that line of sight, and it's blinded to this little section in here.
Right.
So your walls should be coming up to about there. And then again, the same thing's happening with the roof. So if you follow that roof line, kind of ends up somewhere down around here. So this is just a parapet wall. So when we get to roofs, we'll cover that. But honestly, like, you guys all, I think walls, walls, ceilings, and floors will get you guys through to next week. Again, here's just another example of how building 1 kind of has these spinal walls. You can kind of see, you can see it in the roof. It becomes really apparent when you're looking at the entire model. It's quite a fascinating building. I mean, I definitely recommend looking at the building as a whole, or like at least your adjacent sections. See what I mean? It's kind of got like this big spinal structural wall that separates the segments, even though it doesn't look like it in plan. But like, I'd say definitely, guys, get adjacent point clouds in, other people's models in next to yours, just so you start getting a really good overall idea of your area. Janelle, bonus points if you model this flagpole.
Guys, I'm going to leave you now. I'm learning together with students. I have to say thank you so much, Tom and Sian. And guys, be in touch, be connected all the time. And please keep the conservation plan of the building open next to you while you are modeling. I think it is useful because you are learning about the building a lot from there. Thank you so much. I'm switching off now.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. We've been at it for about an hour and a bit, so we've covered a lot of ground. Just honestly,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, fire through some stuff
Thank you
over the
so much,
weekend,
Tom and Sian.
and me and Sian will do some model checks as well. Yeah, cool. Sorry about last week's video. It's just the format's a bit hard to work with, but I have this session now, so I'll get to putting this up because I know we covered a lot of ground. Yeah, no, happy days. Any more questions?
So did you say that you were just going to do a model check of the ones that are submitted?
Yeah, so I mean, the ones that have been put through now, as far as I can tell, they still have some issues with the walls. So I'd say those of you who have submitted, good on you. Just nut some of those out with what we've covered today, and basically, like, yeah, we'll do again like we did with the setup, is just green light for floors and ceilings. That is just for your guys' benefit. If you do want me and Sian to check it, just so you have a bit more confidence going into your floors and ceilings. But if you have the confidence in what you've done with your walls so far, just feel free to go ahead with your floors and ceilings. Like, Janelle, you're looking pretty good with your one. I'd say if there's anything more you want to run by me, I mean, I know there's just like a couple more walls, but so far I'm pretty happy with what you've got.
Oh, thank you.
Sweet. I've got to head off too, so cheers, guys. Yeah, just send the stuff through. Really,
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to have a look at it through the week.
Just quickly, I sent mine. I just want someone to have a look at it. That's all. So, yeah, if I could get feedback on it, like for next time, that would be great.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, guys, you're free.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See you guys.